What's good, YouTube? So today I want to go over the SPY calls that we had today in the group. And we made like 115% on this. All right. Made 115%. And I want to show y'all exactly what I was looking at and how we were able to like make the trade. So I felt like we would get at least to the pre-market high. So that's why I really called that strike price. So when we opened, so I already marked the pre-market lows and the pre-market highs. And right here at 9:30, I was waiting for us to come and touch like, the pre-market lows, but we never did. So today's low of the day was right here at the bottom of this 9:30 a.m. candle right there. I marked that like orange. So that was like the low. But the pre-market low, let me see if I can go and change the settings real quick. Extended hours. And so, yeah, the pre-market low was right here. And we never touched it. We never touched it. This was the pre-market high and pre-market low. And as soon as the bell rung, we sat there and we was holding the support. Once we got above this 5-minute candle right here, like I said, we had a couple of rejections right here, but my first initial target was at 7:43. Back to regular hours. Okay. So what I always like to do, I always like to mark the first 5-minute candle. Okay. I like to do the 5-minute open range breakout. I like to do the 15-minute too, but I always like to mark the high and the low. So that's exactly what I did. I marked the high and I marked the low. Let's go to 5-minute ORB. Let's change the color. All right. Let's clone that. And so we were in this box for like, the first 10 minutes. We kept rejecting. But one thing that I noticed, this was a level yesterday. So yesterday we were, just chopping around right here. Once we got above that, this little line of support, this little box right here, this whole box right there. Once we got above that, I noticed we was like getting support on top of that, which was like at 741. We looking good for the upside, but it was a little bit of rejections, but I wasn't really too concerned because I knew that it was bouncing off of this pre-market low. So I called it like, I think 10 minutes into the market, either 9 or 10 minutes into the market, because we were pushing up. But I like the fact that we were, we were starting to stay above the VWAP. I always use the VWAP. And I was like, okay, as long as we keep on staying above the VWAP and as long as we don't get past, as long as we don't get below 740, I was good. Like I said, my stop loss was down here to take out these lows. So as long as we didn't break this candle right here, I was going to stay in. This candle right here. As long as we didn't break yesterday's last 5-minute candle, I was staying in for calls. And so, like I said, the target was here for the pre-market high, 743. And then I had some more targets along the way, which I like to use the ADR. All right. So as you can see, we hit the target, which is right here at 745.80. And so we hit multiple targets. We was taking profit along the way. So, and my group is called SPX Blueprint. SPX Blueprint. And like I said, I've been having a group now. This is week number 10, and we already got 65 members in there, and we're growing fast. Like I said, we getting to it. We're getting busy. When I seen this breaking above the pre-market high and it was holding support right here, I knew to stay in. So I'm scaling out. I think about right here, I was up around like 80%. Once we got back above pre-market high right here, and we held the support and we came off of this EMA right here. I mean, not this EMA, but when we came off this pre-market high, let me turn on my EMA because the EMAs was looking good all day too. Yeah, we were above the 9 EMA. And I mean, as you can see, I mean, this thing was beautiful. Now, I did get stopped out in my runners. My trailings, I had like the rest of my spot calls, I had like a 50% trailing stop on it. I was trying to hit this upper ADR. I wasn't able to stay in for the whole ride. But I like to shut it down after the first, hour and a half. I don't really like to trade past the first hour and a half, 2 hours max, because most of the time it's going to be chopped. And I'm not really talking about random news that make the market run in the middle of the day or sell in the middle of the day. So But as you can see, we were just pushing, 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 pushing. I mean, I got in around like I think like the 10-minute mark. And once we held above here, the 15-minute ORB, let me mark the 15-minute ORB right here. So this is the 15-minute open range breakout. And what I like to see is, a strong 5-minute counter to close above that. All right. And we got that. I mean, we made a higher high, higher low. Let me use this tool right here. We had a higher high, higher low, higher high. And then we pretty much create like a double bottom right here and just stay higher. We stayed higher. It was a great trade. My group, SPX Blueprint, like I said, we definitely, made good on this move, and it definitely paid us when we were done pretty much. But yeah, for the most part, it was done like at the first hour. So an hour a your day, 115%, not bad, right? Not bad. My number one concern to see all of these things confirmed is like if I'm going to be on the bull side, we got to be above VWAP. And then if you're above the 9 EMA, the 20 EMA, that's extra on top. You know what I mean? So that's exactly what I was looking at. And then, like I said, my ultimate target was upper ADR, and then we went past that. Like we just kept, slow grind all day. But today you had to have a lot of patience because it was low volume. And like I said, we have a holiday weekend, and you definitely don't want to, get caught in that because a lot of times it can go sideways because this pullback right here, I'm sure a lot of people, probably thinking it was going to reverse all the way back in. But once we held the VWAP right here and we held the 20 EMA, usually what I'm used to seeing is like the first touch of the 20 EMA on a very bullish day, they usually bounce. And that's where I like to see if they're going to like hold support or lose support. But by the time we got up here, I was already out. I scaled out perfectly. I started to scale out at 30%. I think I scaled out at 45%, 60%, 80%, and 100%. And then I got out on that last one at 115%. And then on the rest of my runners, this pullback right here, it definitely stopped me out right here. This whole little pullback right here, that stopped me out. So I was a little salty, but because I wanted to get more out of that. Because those contracts, I think when I checked it, they end up going for like 400%. Like if I would have held the whole time. Because I was debating on that last one to just leave it at break even, but I didn't. I wanted to just be all the way in profit. So I can never be mad about, stopping out in profit. And then let's check the 10-minute time frame. Yeah, we pretty much, just had a 2-2 continuation. We had a fill to up on the 10-minute right here at 10 a.m. But as you can see, we never confirmed it. We never got below that. We never got below it. So I'll mark that orange. We never got below it. Because in order for it to be valid, you have to trigger it. And we never triggered it. We just stopped right here, right at the pre-market highs. That's how strong this thing is. It supported right here, pre-market highs, supported pre-market highs, and then it took off. That's exactly what you want to see. The 15-minute time frame, same thing. We never triggered it. And today, like, they were pretty much, like I said, negating all the fail to ups. Because my favorite plays, if you've been in my Discord and you know me, I love to trade the strat, and I love to play fail to. That's my number one thing. All right, that's my number one thing. The first hour today, look at it, straight bullish, pull back, and it just ran the whole time. So we didn't even get a red close until like the very end. I mean, the last 2 days been very, very bullish. Like once we closed this gap yesterday, it's just we just kept running. That's all we've been doing. It's just low volume. We had this daily gap close. That was another thing too. I was going for a daily gap fill right here, and this is where we were, daily gap fill. So that was a target of mine too. So if you scale back in on a 15-minute time frame, that's when I really got out of most of my contracts, is right here on this white line. and we held that support. So once we got above it, we held a support. It's pretty much around the same area as the pre-market high. And so, yeah, great trade, great trade. And I want to show like why we were able to pretty much continue this move. Let's go to the daily. This is the SPY. Let's go ahead and go to SPX because you can see it a lot better. Okay, the reason why we're bullish and we had to come and get this gap fill right here, I knew we were coming from a hard sell-off. And the market had been kind of supporting this area. This is the fair value gap. But once we had this fail to down, if you knew the strat, you already know that you could have entered right here for calls. This candle right here is what the one I'm talking about. And, your stop loss can be right there. Let's turn it red. Or you can do like 50% or like 75% or 80% of that candle if you feel like you was going to get stopped out. But most of the time on the failed twos, like I said, if you're buying time, like I said, a week out, you would have been able to catch a move. You would have been able to catch a move from 73.92 all the way up here to 7,500. We tagged 75.06 and just been 2 days of just bullishness. And I knew we were going to try to come and take out these highs and close this gap. And so right now, this is an area of resistance that I'm looking at. And we'll see if they can try to punch through this to the upside. And, we'll see, because it's kind of, like I said, it's kind of bull flagging as well. Right here, it's a channel. But like I said, one thing that I'm looking at is this is a lower high now. We've been creating higher highs this whole time. Can we continue to break to the upside and squeeze the bears, or are they going to try to come back down here in this channel, start to work their way back down, and then come and test this? We'll see. The market, there's no guarantees, but the one thing we did get a confirmation on. Let me delete this. For all the straters, everybody that trade the strat, you know what this means. This is what we call a fail to. Now, the only thing I don't like about this candle is that it's a long wick at the bottom, and it's a lot of buyers in there. So it's going to take some work to confirm this fail to up, to trigger it. I'm sorry, to trigger this fail to up on a monthly. So let me see. This will be what I'm looking at. The fail to up on the monthly, it can happen, but you have to break all the way down. But this wick at the bottom, they might try to like invalidate it, like to push past it and then start to break down. But that's the market for you. So you just gotta be patient and wait and just play what you see on the charts. Other than that, if y'all looking to join the community, please click the link in the description. The name of my group is called SPX Blueprint. All right. We day trade live every Tuesday through Friday. And like I said, I'll be live 15 to 20 minutes before the market opens. And then, like I said, we over there, we getting it. It's a great community. Everybody's helpful. And like I said, we're looking forward to growing. We've only been open 10 weeks. I'll be posting a lot more here on YouTube. So you'll be getting to see a lot of me. I got to get used to doing these posts and these videos and getting used to talking again. So yeah, other than that, see y'all, man. Peace.